The moment I knew these questions were going to be crazy.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Persephone. If this is your first time joining me, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we're gonna hop right into this Q&A. Guys, I have all the questions that you guys have sent me, either in the comment section, or if you have went to my IG and sent me messages. I have all of your questions here, and we're finally gonna get into this Q&A. I also did add some additional items that I'm gonna call like hidden gems, just things that were really important that I didn't know that I needed throughout my surgery journey, or things that just wound up being super clutch and I needed a lot more than I expected. The first item is gonna be this. Let's see if the camera can get it. This is, and guys, everything that I'm talking about is going to be in the description box, so you will have a link to all of these items. This is going to be the Omar Shea Butter and Body Cream. This wound up being so helpful for me. So what I used this for during my surgery process was during my massages. So when I came back from DR and all of my incisions were actually closed, and I was getting my massages done, my massage lady actually told me about using shea butter. She was like, well, instead of you using arnica gel, because that's initially what I was using, was arnica gel, which does work well, does definitely help with like the bruising, but she was like, instead of using that, why don't you just use shea butter? So I started using that. Next thing is going to be silicone gel breast lift. They're like stickers, they're like patches. Again, it's gonna be in the description box, so you guys will be able to see it. But they basically are the shape of like the lollipop incision when you get an actual breast lift. So you know, that round circle down shape. This really was super helpful for me, and I didn't even realize how helpful it was for me, but it was super helpful just because it does help. Not only does it make the incision not rise, like make sure your skin doesn't rise, but it also helps the incision heal, and it also helps it disappear quicker. So definitely check that out if you guys are getting breast lifts, for sure, because I don't know how many dogs I know that like that winds up being like a real issue for them, is like the incision around their boobs, you know. Next thing, more wipes. I needed a lot of wipes, and when I went to DR, I actually, not only did I take regular baby wipes, but I also took body wipes, like the big ones, because you guys know you cannot take a shower in Dominican Republic after you have surgery. So that shower you take the night before you have surgery is going to be your last one until you probably leave, most likely. So I brought these wipes in particular because they were full body wipes. They were bigger and they were super helpful. So definitely check that out. Next item is a lock box. So I have you guys ask me all the time too, like, you know, how did you carry your money and things like that, but I don't think a lot of people mention the importance of having a lockbox, because even if you plan on staying in these recovery houses, or even if you plan on staying in the hotels, you want to have a lockbox with you, because things are known for actually getting stolen in recovery houses. So you want to have a lockbox. The lockbox that I'm actually mentioning was a lockbox that was given to me by one of my roomies in my recovery house. It was really small. I actually still use it to this day, like when I'm traveling or when I go on vacation. If I'm in a hotel room, I definitely still use this lockbox. It was super helpful. And the thing that I really enjoy about this lockbox is that it has a code. It doesn't have keys, which is super important, because when you're in pain and you're in the recovery house, you're going in and out, you know, you're asleep most of the time, you're not going to really want to keep up with a pair of keys to be able to get your money in and out, or put your, you know, grab your passport, or put your jewelry in or something like that, you're not going to want to keep up with that. So the code on the lockbox is something that I really, really appreciate as well. More money. I definitely needed way more American dollars than I initially thought. I think I brought probably an extra $800 in like just American cash with me, and I actually needed more cash because between, well, one, my recovery house package that I got actually included my driver to be able to take me to the doctor and back. But if you plan on actually, you know, like let's say before you have your surgery, if you plan on coming to DR maybe 2 days before, which I would suggest, because we all know that, you know, a lot of times your hemo does drop. You give it a chance for your hemo to get back up before your surgery, so this way you can get everything done that you anticipated. But let's say you want to go to the mall. A lot of times that's not included in a recovery package. So those drivers, you know, you're going to have to pay. Now, I would definitely suggest if the drivers are too expensive to get Uber. Uber is out there. I used Uber when I was there several times because the drivers were just pretty much raping the dolls in how much money we were having to get them to take us to just the simplest places. So I definitely used Uber, but then at the same time, you may feel like you're more comfortable with the drivers. So you'll have to tip them, or you'll have to, you know, tip people to help you do things out there, because to be honest with you, a lot of times, unfortunately, what I seen was that people were not really willing to help you if you weren't paying them. So definitely make sure you bring a good amount of American cash on you as well, just in case you do decide, hey, you want to go to a restaurant or something like that. Another item that I didn't know was going to be as important as it is pineapple juice. So hands down, for me, this was the best anti-inflammatory that I used during my entire recovery process. This pineapple juice was the best. It was the most helpful. It was definitely the best to not make me feel swollen, not make me feel big. And when I came back and I was able to actually start working out again, what I would do in the morning was make a actual smoothie, and the pineapple juice would be my base of the smoothie, and then I'll put like frozen fruit and stuff like that. And I did that for about maybe 6 months after my surgery, so it was super helpful. And even now to this day, I still drink a lot of pineapple juice. And I'm like 3 years post-op, guys, and y'all know that. If you're not familiar with that process and my story about my surgery journey, again, the link is going to be in the bio, so you can go watch those videos and see, you know, how my process was. The next item is going to be Ensure. Guys, I cannot stress how important it was for me to have Ensure. I definitely needed much more Ensure than I actually brought. I think I only brought like 1 6-pack of Ensure, but in reality, I probably could have did at least 2 to 3 more Ensures. And even when I got home, I was still drinking Ensure. The reason being is because, again, you don't really have an appetite like the first 1 to 3 days after surgery. You usually don't have an appetite, so the Ensure is gonna help you get, you know, that nutrients you need to put back in your body after having such a major surgery, and, you know, your body trying to recover from all that trauma. So Ensure is definitely super helpful, and it doesn't taste bad either. Next item is going to be the Hydro Blue Ready foams. So guys, you guys know I had a lipo burn. We know that. If you're not familiar, go in the description box. My videos is going to be there telling you about how I got my lipo burn. What I used to help me with my lipo burn looks dramatically different than what it did. This really, really helped me. Like, I cannot stress how helpful this was. They're kind of expensive, but they're so worth it. And they're like just little pads that you put on your back. You're gonna put tape around the area like you would do with your regular dressing, around your incisions. And it definitely really helped. I think that if I would have kind of found out about it sooner, like once I first got home from surgery and put it on, and was consistent with it, my burn probably would look much better than it even looks now. And it looks way different than it did when I first came home. So the next thing is going to be Neosporin. I needed a lot of Neosporin. I think I underestimated how much Neosporin I needed as well. There was another cream that I used that was actually really helpful, and I got it from like Dollar General, I believe. And I'm gonna put it in the description as well next to the Neosporin, so you know what I'm talking about. And it was like $1, and that was super helpful too. But just to put on your incisions, you know, for me, my tummy tuck scar, my back scars, arm lipo scars, and stuff like that. Dressings. I didn't realize, like, honestly, I felt like I was going to the store like every 2 days to go get more dressings, more tapes, more things to cover up my incisions. Guys, another thing I really want to stress to you guys that the importance of is putting tape over your incisions. It doesn't matter if it's like a small incision, put tape over it because you do not want your skin to rise. Put tape over it. But yeah, I needed a lot more dressing than I actually thought I did, because you got to remember too, when you're getting your massages, you're also going to be changing your dressing out. You're not going to be, you know, taking off that dressing to get your massage and then putting back on the old one. So you're going to need a lot of that as well. And of course, you want to have most of these items, you know, ready for you when you're home already, because again, you're still going to be in pain, you know. It's going to be but so much you can do. Another thing I'm gonna share with you guys is, because I told you guys my story about my faja situation and how they tried to get me to buy a faja, a stage 2 faja, like literally my first day out of surgery, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So I actually came home. I waited until I came home. I kept my stage 1 faja on the entire time I was there. And when I came home and got with like my massage person, just when I got with people who I felt like kind of knew about surgery, that's when I felt more comfortable with where I was going to buy my faja from. I purchased my faja from Amazon. I purchased my stage 2 faja from Amazon. It was perfectly fine, great material, and I just got it taken in, you know, at the cleaners when I got back to the States. So I'm going to share that, and it's inexpensive too. It's not really expensive. I think it's like $60 or something like that, or maybe $65 or $70. But I know the stage 2 fajas in DR usually are like, they're usually custom too, but what's really custom? Like, they just have a faja in a, you know, small, medium, and large, and they are just gonna take it in. Same thing you're gonna do with this faja. And they're usually like maybe $120, $130, sometimes $150. So I'm gonna share with you guys my stage 2 faja. Again, it's gonna be in the description. Another thing I would say for sure is bring something that's kind of like comforting from home. So for instance, for me, I brought a blanket, a throw that I usually put on my couch, and I brought it to DR with me and had it with me through the entire process. When you are feeling down, or you know, homesick, or you're just ready to go, because again, which we'll get more into it when I continue to make my videos about my personal experience in Dominican Republic and how the process was for me. Most girls usually fall into a slight depression straight out of surgery, and that's just what happens. Because you know, they're like, you know, what did I just do to my body? You know, this is extremely painful. You know, did I not like my body so much that I would allow myself to do something like that? And that's normal, guys. If you experience that, that's normal. If you do experience that, please make sure to talk to somebody about it. Whether that's your family at home, if you need to WhatsApp them or FaceTime them, just talk to somebody about it. Don't just, sit in that. But it's very normal. Girls go through it all the time when they come fresh out of surgery. So it's normal. So you want to have that comforting item with you just so, you just feel better, because a lot of times you're very homesick. You're ready to go home. You're ready to go back to the States. So that was definitely very helpful for me, very clutch for me. I would say another thing too, ladies, make sure that you whatever you do to clean up the kitty down there, do that before you get out to DR, because you're gonna be naked a lot. Okay, everybody's naked. So if you wax the kitty up, get it right, get it tight, and the arms, all that stuff. Just make sure your hygiene game is good before you get there, because you got to remember, you're not taking a shower till you come back. If you're staying out there 10, 12 days, that's a long time. And then also, you're gonna be naked a lot, so make sure you just prepare yourself. You guys actually asked me some really, really good questions, so I'm actually really excited to answer them for you guys. So let's just hop into that. Where would you stay after surgery if not the recovery house? So I tell you guys all the time that personally, if I had to do it again, I would actually stay in a hotel and not a recovery house, just to avoid a lot of the known drama that usually is in the recovery house. Plus, in addition to that, when you're in a recovery house, there's usually multiple dolls. So the nurses are gonna get to you as quickly as they can get to you. But when you're in pain, you want to be helped, as quickly as you can possibly be helped. But if you are gonna decide to stay in a hotel room, like I suggest, make sure you find out what's their washing situation is like, because you will need to wash your fajas a lot. You will need to wash your clothes a lot. So find out how's that gonna work at the hotel. Do I have a hotel recommendation in DR? So the only hotel that I actually personally went to in DR when I was there was the Embassy, which is actually not too far from the doctors either. It's about maybe 15-20 minutes. I'll try to see if I can link that as well. That is that hotel. It was very nice. It was actually inside of a kind of a mall plaza that had a movie theater and stuff like that, and different restaurants. People spoke English there. So did I go alone? Yes, I did go alone, but again, I would suggest you definitely bring somebody out there with you. Your own person, your own people, not whoever you hire. If you hire a private nurse, bring your own person for sure. I would definitely suggest that. But I would also suggest have a nurse too, because if something happens to you, if you don't stay in a recovery house, have a nurse as well, because if you go into cardiac arrest, do your people that you brought, from the States or wherever you brought them with you from, are they gonna know what to do in that particular moment? So remember that as well. How much was your recovery house cost? So I stayed at Diva Dolls International. We're gonna get into that. I do not recommend them. But the package that I purchased from them, I think it was a 10-day package, and it included my food. It included my rides from the doctor visits and back, and that was $900. And it gave me something else. They were supposed to send me flowers or some candies, I think some edible arrangements after I came back home. But the experience was so horrible, I could care less about the candy. And why would you give candy to people that just got out of surgery? That doesn't even make sense. How did you pay your deposit? Remember, guys, in my previous videos, I tell you, you know, how many doctors I actually went through until I actually got my doctor that performed my surgery on me. So I paid my first deposit, I paid that by a bank wire through Bank of America, and they gave me a receipt. When you do the wire, that's gonna let you know, give you a number that you can call and actually check on that wire and see if like somebody came and picked up the wire and stuff like that, what time and date they picked up the wire. Excuse me. And then I also sent my second wire through Western Union. And yeah, they gave you a receipt, you can check on it, and that's how I paid my deposits for my doctors. Do doctors over there accept care credit? All of the doctors that I either sent a deposit for, which was about 3 different doctors, and the doctor I actually went to, none of them accepted care credit. So did you need blood transfusions? I did. I needed 2 bags of blood, apparently. Did you take a carry-on or did you check in your luggage? I definitely checked in my luggage. I'm not sure how in the world you would be able to just carry on your bags, because again, you're gonna have a lot of liquids, and I think for a carry-on you can only have a 3.5 ounce to carry it on, so you're gonna need to check it in. It's really no way around that. Were you hesitant to get surgery in Dominican Republic at first? Absolutely. I was very hesitant. I was very nervous, but again, I did do research for 2 years prior to actually committing to go get surgery out there. And yeah, I was very hesitant. When did you go back to work? So I went back to work a month after having surgery, and honestly, if I could have stayed a little bit longer, like maybe a week or 2 longer out, I would have. But again, taking consideration, I had a lot more surgeries than the average person. And when I did go back to work after a month, my feet were extremely swollen, and I actually work in an office. So it wasn't like I was like doing hard labor or having to move around a lot. I would walk because of course it is recommended for you to move around after you have surgery for sure, and walk around. But I didn't have to. Like I could sit in a chair at my desk in my office and, you know, never move. And my feet were still really, really swollen a month later. So how much was your massages? My massages, so when I first came back from Dominican Republic, I made the mistake of not really having an actual person that I knew was going to be able to do my massages when I came back home, which was a huge mistake, because when you first get back home, one, you're coming off of the plane, so you know you're going to be extra swollen, and you're going to be stiff, and you want to get your massage like probably the very next day, because that's the only thing that's going to make you feel better at that point. So I made a mistake of not having a secure person to actually do my massages. So when I got home, I actually went to I called a lot of places, and a lot of places would not even take me because I still had my incisions weren't closed, all the way closed yet. So a lot of places wouldn't even take me, and a lot of places didn't even know what I was talking about when I was saying I needed a lymphatic drainage massage. They had no idea what I was even talking about. And these are like massage parlors and stuff and shops. They had no idea what I was even talking about. So that made me super nervous. So what I decided to do, I had a massage MD that was literally around the corner from my house. And I completely lied to them too. Like, they asked me, and they did lymphatic drainage massage. They asked me, they were like, are your incisions closed? At this point, I didn't have a drain in, so that was good, because they definitely are not going to, you don't have somebody who like knows what they're doing, and are familiar with, plastic surgery from other countries or just the plastic surgery process, and you still have that drain in. It's going to be very hard to find somebody who is going to be willing to give you a massage, because they're just so nervous and scared that they're going to be liable for something. Like, you hear most dogs say, a lot of doctors don't even want to touch them when they come back and they tell people, I had surgery in Dominican Republic. That's very true. A lot of people they don't want to be liable, they don't want to be liable because they hear the same thing that we hear. They hear dogs die out there, so they don't want nothing to do with it. But long story short, I wound up going to a massage Emmy that was right down the street from my house, just because I couldn't really drive when I came home, and the person that was helping me with my recovery process when I came home, which was my little sister, shout out to her, she didn't fly in until like 2 or 3 days after I came home. So for the first 2 or 3 days, I was by myself, and definitely won't suggest that. Make sure you have somebody there with you at home, because you can't even do the basic stuff. You can't even brush your teeth by yourself. Well, I couldn't, because I had my boobs done and I had arm lipo, or I had a lift and I had arm lipo, so I couldn't even get myself out of bed. So that was a mistake. But I went to the massage MD, and I told them, my incisions were closed, and I let them do my lymphatic drainage massage. Luckily, one of the massage ladies that was there, she actually knew what she was doing, and she was familiar with post-op surgery care, so she wound up being really helpful. And I went to her for probably, because I purchased like a package with them, which was like you got 3 massages for free or something like that in a month, and then you had to pay the additional massages, which the additional massages were, I think, $60. I did that for a little bit, but I didn't do it for a long time, because yes, the massages were helpful, and she was very helpful. She's actually one of the ones that suggested the shea butter to me, which wound up being super clutch for me. But it wasn't the massages that I was getting in Dominican Republic, not even close to the massages that I was getting in Dominican Republic. Yes, it was still painful, but would I say it was as helpful as the massages overall? No. As the massages in Dominican Republic, no, it wasn't even in comparison. So when I wound up finding my massage lady, who actually is very familiar with post-op care, she is here in Atlanta, which I'll try to go ahead and put her information in the description box, put her IG information. Nina does not, I don't know how you guys are going to book with her, so please don't be mad at me. I'm going to put her description stuff, her information in the description box, put her IG information. I'm not sure how you're going to reach out to her. Try to message her, but she says she doesn't accept DMs. She's very popular here in Atlanta. She does massages for literally everybody. Anybody and everybody you could think of that you see on IG that has had plastic surgery, she probably did their post-op care, and she has relationships with the doctors in DR. So that's super helpful too. Like, when you can't reach your doctor for any given reason, she can probably reach out to your doctor and get a response for you, or get your question answered for you, or let them know, you need to speak to them immediately. And when I found her, what I started doing was, because I had a surgery, I had a massage every day after I came home for a month. When I found her, what I started doing was I started getting my massages with her like every other day, and then after that I would go and I I would, whatever days I couldn't get with her, I would actually just do the massage envy instead. So that's how I kind of set it up, so I could have massages pretty much every day. Well, every day. Did you sit on a Bbl pillow on the plane? I did not sit on a Bbl pillow on the plane, and my plane ride was 3 hours. I did not sit on a Bbl pillow, nor did I get up and walk the whole entire plane. Girl, I was in so much pain. There wasn't no walking, no plane. Like, I wasn't doing that. I was just thinking about, yes, I'm finally going home. I was in so much pain. I wasn't doing that. I sat my behind on my booty and prayed that, you know, my hip dips didn't fade away, and that was that. And they didn't go away. But I will say, again, watch how you're sleeping. Make sure that, you know, whatever your doctor recommends, how you sleep is definitely how you sleep, because I have a little tiny bit of fat that I know for a fact. I can remember the day, like it was like 2 days after I came home. I probably was like maybe 15 days post-op at that point. I like kind of slept on my side for like maybe an hour or two, like in a nap type of thing, and the fat disappeared. It's not noticeable. I don't look like deformed or anything like that, but I notice it, and I know exactly like from when it happened. So, you know, whatever your doctor recommends for you to sleep, make sure you sleep that way. If your doctor recommends you need a Bbl pillow because you're getting Bbl, again, I didn't get Bbl, bring your Bbl pillow, just period. Did you have a hard time not sitting or sleeping on your back or your side for 6 to 8 weeks? We kind of just touched on that. Yes, had a really hard time. I sleep on my side. That's what I'm most comfortable doing. So it's definitely very uncomfortable to not, you know, sleep on my side. And honestly, it's all uncomfortable. Not to scare you guys, because I don't want to scare you guys. But when you know, are going through this recovery process, it's kind of all gonna be uncomfortable. First, you're in pain, you're swollen. Again, pineapple juice is gonna be your best friend. You're swollen, and you're in this fire hot all day, all night. You feel like a Vienna sausage. You know, you can't sleep comfortably how you probably would normally sleep. I'm not gonna lie, the first 3 months is kind of rough. Like it's kind of rough. You get what I'm saying? Because even when you get over the swell hell that we call it, post-op dolls call it swell hell. Even when you get out of that, you know, sometimes you'll still feel like sharp pains, just like sharp pains you don't even really know where it's coming from. It'll just be like it'll feel like kind of like a lightning bolt of a sharp pain, or you may have itching going on. Thank the Lord I didn't really have itching. So that 1 to 3 months, I'm not gonna lie, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. But just stick it out. You know, you're gonna make it. You're a tough cookie. You got it. And just make sure you listen to your body. Doctors over there accept credit cards. All the doctors that I went to did not accept anything other than US dollars. No pesos, like their currency, US dollars. That's what you needed. For the 3 doctors that I had quotes for and that I had intentions on getting surgery, you lose weight from surgery like pounds. I lost probably 10 pounds from surgery. I didn't lose much. I think people have an impression that when you go get surgery, you're gonna lose all this weight. Like mysteriously, you're gonna be like 30 pounds lighter. You're not. Even with as much fat they can possibly take off of you, you're still not gonna be like a dramatically different. Your body is going to be contoured and shaped differently, but your overall weight is going to be fairly around the same amount. You may lose, 5 or 10 pounds, but you're not really losing that much weight unless you're getting like full body lipo, or you have a lot of weight to take off when they do your tummy tuck or something like that. And even with that, it's still not going to be that much weight, actual pounds. Where did you hide your money at the airport and recovery house? We went over that already as far as the lockbox. And at the airport, I just wore one of those money pouches, and I wore it underneath my boobs, and it was completely flat, and that's where I kept my money. But to be honest with you, if you bring that lockbox, I would just say bring the lockbox in your carry-on. Like, yeah, that's what I would do. Because unless somebody is just gonna run up to you and steal your purse off of you, which the likelihood of that, I mean, it could happen. Realistically, anything could happen, but I don't know how likely that would be in the middle of the airport. So, but that I did use that, and I'll make sure to put that in the description as well. This has been super helpful for you guys. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next time.